The control of West Africa did not just started in 1960. It was something that started around 1800. 1800, that was when the whole control started. How do we take over the beauty and the wealth of West Africa? What do they do first? They had to capture Benin, 1897. After they captured Benin, you know the next nation they went to? Aroshuku, 1902. Either 1902 or 1901. Do you know what they destroyed in Aroshuku? The Aroshuku Shrine, the Igbo land. 1901 or 1902. Why are they destroying the shrines? Because they are the stronghold that will bring about innovations and upliftment to Nigeria. Let me tell you, you know what's called technology? World technology today was supposed to spring from West Africa. I mean world technology. I'm talking about as far as 1800. As far as 1800, the innovation of bomb and gunpowder was in Benin. When the white men brought their gunpowder and the rest of, we innovated it and changed it. So you see that when the Biafra War was coming, every single weapon and bomb and cars they use were all produced in West Africa. You see these things? Technology. They saw it. They say, white man show us things. When? When did technology come? Like, technology we are enjoying today, when? It's not even up to 300 years. But there was technology already in West Africa. And there were three major groups in West Africa that the whites were scared of. Number one, the Benin tribe. Number two, the Igbo tribe. Number three, the Yoruba tribe. We already know that the Kumasi tribe, they all came from the Bantu tribe, the Benin tribe. Now let me go, so I'm going somewhere. I'm telling you why Nnamdi Kanu may not be released except spiritual ritual is done. And this spiritual ritual will require all the deities of Igbo land, all the deities of Yoruba land, all the deities of Kumasi, all the deities of Benin. You have to summon all of them down to one place. Unite them. Give them an incantation, and they go on a war against 47 different deities, of which that capture the essence of West Africa. I kept saying it even before now, that they insult our ancestors. They insult our deities. I say, where was our deity when they came to capture us? No, our deities were first captured. We need to understand that the fact that a community have a deity does not make the deity most powerful among all deities. Deities, they get power past deity. But you know what? I from Isoko can come to your deity in Arushuku, and I will offer something to your deity. They call it the Hakao ritual. I will offer a Hakao ritual, and your deity start working for me against you. That is what is happening in Nigeria. Now let's go back to the whole matter now. When they discover that to capture the whole region, they have to employ the works of both the ancient gods and some old gods from the Iceland, the Norse gods from the Iceland, the Anglo gods that the Iceland, the Scandinavia, brought to Anglo. You know what it's called Anglo? England. They have to bring Freya, they have to bring a lot of different deities to capture our deity, because those gods are older than our gods. But our gods here emanate the same forces of the ancient African deities. They have to capture us. How did they do that? Before the creation of Nigeria, after the destruction of Aroshuku Shrine, the destruction of the great walls and the great shrines of Benin, they came down here. Look at what they did. Between 1950 and 1957, they said the only thing we have to do is to summon all the deities across the whole world. I'm talking about the time where England, Anglo, were already controlling the deities of India. And it took India many years to liberate themselves. They were holding the deities of China, and all the desert deities of Arabia under the Norse gods, controlled by the Anglos, because the Ice Men has taken over Anglo. Like they were even coming to Africa, but we stopped them at the northern part of Africa. They started planning 1950 to 1960 and the rest of. But you know what they did? After they captured the Igbo spirituality, they captured the Benin spirituality, there is only one spirituality remained that was more powerful and difficult for them to capture. Do you know what was that? Shango, Oya. Shango, Oya, and Olokun. Those three deities, they stood that you captured Igbo, you captured Benin, you can never come. And what did they do? They summoned the most powerful deities they can think of. How do we do that? Let us organize a festival of the gods. But before men, we call it African festival. And they use a Yoruba man to get that done. Do you know who they use? Obasanjo. Even at that time, Obasanjo did not know that he was under an influence, a spiritual influence. Guess what? It took them 10 good years to plan the festival. It took them 10 good years. Let me tell you, they were offering animals and human sacrifice every year for 7 years to tie Nigeria down. Because if Nigeria, this region, there was no Nigeria, if this region can liberate themselves, Africa will be one of the most powerful continents. I'm telling you that literally white men would have been in our houses today as houseboy and house girls serving the black nation. Like South Africa was already captured. They had to come to the West Africa, because if West Africa is liberated, South Africa will be freed. I'm talking about a call can be made in Nigeria and say every single white man in South Africa get out, and they will be running, because if Nigerian army come, it's finished. Nigeria has to be captured. You go out against our leaders, you insult our leaders, those men don't even know what they are doing. Because the moment you that is fighting for Nigeria step into that office, you are taken over by forces you cannot explain. And the moment you say you want to stand against those forces, you know what will happen? You die on time. They say he's sick, he died. They say as he enter office, that was why the moment Yaradua enter office, a good mind came. What happened? Sickness, he died. Buhari enter office. Buhari came to office with a good mind to save his face of what happened before. What happened? Sickness, etc. What did he do? He has to come back, make her die for Nigeria. When you become a president, and I will tell you, Tinubu did not enter the office because he wanted to make Nigeria bad. Tinubu entered, but when the man entered, when he sees forces, he has to protect himself. Even if you make Nnamdi Kanu the president of Nigeria today, forces would hit him, he will turn back. Except those human sacrifice, those rituals and incantations made in 1977 are all removed. 1977 was the grand finale. Now let me tell you, after that, when Igbo deities fought against that ritual that was being done in Nigeria, what did they do? They held another meeting. I will tell you where they held the meeting. It was in Germany. A force of demons and angels, demons, powerful gods that control mankind, said, we have to be in control. Because West Africa was supposed to be the new black race, the new empire. You see, the Benin Empire was going to be the first new world empire, working in hand with Arushuku. Because sometimes 1813, the Oba of Benin declared no more slave trade again. We cannot sell our brother. What happened? They declared. And when they declared, they said the only way we can do is to make not the Igbo tribe. And a war came. The Igbos were being massacred in the north, across everywhere. And what happened? A war arose. The idea was to totally annihilate the whole of Igbo. Who were used? Leaders of this nation were used. Let me say it. Leaders of this nation. They knew the only way we can destroy the whole of Igbo is to first of all create the country. And so what happened? 1960, right? Nigeria was created. The moment Nigeria was created, the whole place became warm. Do you know? Imagine you come to a house where you want to fight and take over the house. But guess what? That house is not what? Is not united. The Hausa at one side, the Yoruba at one side, the Benin at one side, the Uzih at one side. What will happen? How can we go and just conquer Igbo? They come and conquer Benin. They come and conquer these people. They say it will be difficult. They couldn't conquer the north. They couldn't conquer Yoruba. They have conquered Benin. Even Igbo was not conquered until 1902. You know how they were able to conquer Igbo? By destroying the Arushuku Shrine. By destroying the Arushuku Shrine. Why? Because in Benin, we didn't have a lot of deities. Our deities were shared with the Yoruba, the Oloko, the Ogun. So the only major deity we had in Benin was Ovia, Aziza. And Aziza only know based on what you offer. Aziza is only respected to the one that wants worship. Aziza was left, only Ovia was consulted. And when Ovia was consulted, Ovia said, a war is coming. Even my great-great-grandfather went to meet the Oba, traveled all the way from Izugo to meet the Oba. War is coming. Don't bring the white men in. The prime minister went behind. Now let's go somewhere. 1960, Nigeria came. Wahala burst. Now they now have a unified army. They can literally focus on a region that we are using spiritual, we have to use physical. Because the consequence is this: when you are spiritually powerful, what do they attack? They attack your physical, they attack your emotions, they attack your money. When they take your money away, take your children away, take your wife away, you become weak. You will not even have time to go and do what? Sacrifice. You will not have time to go and do incantation. So they came after the Igbo. When I say they came, I'm talking about forces outside Nigeria, forces outside this place. So let's not say it's our leaders. Let's say it's not say Yakubu Gowon, because even Yakubu Gowon did not know what was happening. Now you know what happened. You know what happened when the war was on here. Ojukwu knew that this was not a physical war. You know what he did? Ojukwu went to Benin in the middle of the night. Even those who are alive that know will say, this man, you cannot know this except you are a god or a spirit. Ojukwu went to a shrine in Benin and they said, something has been dug. More than 5 heads, human beings have been dug. We cannot make this happen until we leave the shores of this West Africa. See, where do we go to? He said, let's go to Ghana. A meeting was held in Ghana. When the meeting was held in Ghana, guess what? Somebody came with a charm. And when that charm came in, there was confusion between Ojukwu and Yakubu Gowon. The meeting was not successful. Listen, when spiritual control the physical, you will not know what is happening. And the meeting was scattered and the war continued. For almost 3 years, the Igbo spirituality was destroyed. Young men that were powerful. I'm talking about at that time, person from Igbo land will stand up and march ground. The ground will open, go enter inside. You go come over another place. People were powerful there. And after the war, what happened? Igbo was totally destroyed. Go and check. Shrines were destroyed. Trees were cut down. They were entering into forests to desecrate the land. Do you know what it means that you enter a community, the people you used to protect, their blood is scattered everywhere? You will leave. So Amadioha left. The deities of Arushuku, they all left. And they went to the riverside and they were weeping, they were asking. They couldn't do nothing because a greater power has suppressed them. It was not the white power. The whites used spiritual power to suppress them. And what happened? Say, finally the Igbo are gone. Where do we go now? Is to capture Yoruba. We will not use that fight, because if we use that fight, they will know what will happen. What do we do? Let us summon and establish the kingdom. How do we do that? The Yoruba. Let's do a unification. At that time, they were doing the first that Igbo was still suffering from the wound. And they announced first that. When the war, how can war be going? Igbo are being killed. But meetings were being held in Lagos to run Festac 1977. Festac 1977 meeting. People, do you know that? Let me tell you, do you know that people in Lagos didn't know that people were dying in the east? War was happening in the east. People were dying, but people in Lagos didn't know. Yes, even as far as to Warri, that is closer to Igbo, did not know that they were fighting war in the. To tell you how a dome, you know what's called a dome? A dome was used to cover the whole of east. That even when people were screaming at the other side, somebody standing in the side of the dome will not hear that people are dying. What gave Igbo mind? A lot of men stood. But guess what? Finally, Festac date was fixed. And for 30 days, for straight 30 days, Anubis was brought in. Loki was brought in. Freda was brought in. Odin was brought in. Every single powerful deity from all the corners of the world came. And an agreement was made. We own West Africa. We own Central Africa. We own Africa. So they offer blood ritual to deities from West Africa, deities from South Africa, deities from East Africa, deities from North Africa, and they capture. But guess what? One part of Africa exempted themselves from that what? From that agreement. Do you know what's that? Egypt. The ancient gods of our ancestors said, we are not part of this. But if the other deities and gods in West Africa cannot fight for their people, we are not part of this. That was when the whites walked in hand with our ancient deities. And it's why I tell you people that I was sent not by the gods here, but by the ancient gods. It was called, that was why I am called today, the reminder, to remind you. Even my PA said she has never heard of Festac before. Somebody, a man of 47 years, chatted me now and says, Oga, which one is Festac? I've not heard of Festac. I thought Festac is the name of city. When you hear Lagos Festac, Festac means Festival of Art and Culture. That's Festac. Festival of Art and Culture. After Festac, do you know that Nigeria used over $400 and something million as a 1977? Now, in 2023 or 2024, that's over 3 point something billion. It was a festival to behold. Literally, when you see masquerade, see, go online, search for Festac 1977. When you see people coming, your mind will tell you, say, no. These are not just physical masquerade. These are deities. They said all religion on earth came in to showcase their power in Nigeria, in Lagos. That Festac you see, that place was built to accommodate visitors. Lagos was the headquarters of Nigeria, the heartbeat of West Africa. In fact, Lagos was the powerful city in the whole of Africa. It was even so powerful than Cairo. And guess what? After Festac, what happened to us? Guess, go and check history. Nigeria before Festac was so rich. In less than 5 years, Nigeria was so rich that we borrowed UK money. We were so rich that we even helped Russia in their military campaigns. We were so rich. Nigeria was the most powerful nation on earth. We were borrowing nations' money. We gave Ghana. Ghana first was getting independence, but we are more powerful. Like, no, as people they rush, they go Canada. White men were running to come to Nigeria. Go online and search for Nigeria 1970. You will find out that our streets were more cleaner than UK today. Bicycle get where they ride. Motorcycle go. See, every average Nigerian was rich. After 1977, what happened? That is the poverty we are going now. That is Nnamdi Kanu. That is so real. So you see, if from Benin, that is me. I told my wife one day, I said, time I'm coming, they will come after me, but I will not die. Like I told VDM, you will be alive, you will be old, and you will hold your walking stick. And children will come to say, sir, you fought for us. Nnamdi Kanu, you will not die. You will hold your walking stick, and they will say, you fought for us. Not because we have to fight the government, but we have to fight the forces that have held the government down. This war, I said, I can perform a ritual, and Nnamdi Kanu will be released in the next 14 days. But the question here is this: who in Igbo land has this knowledge to say, let us put our hand together and offer that ritual? Except I'm not Uzih. If we do that ritual, Una will wake up one morning, they will say, Nnamdi Kanu has been granted bail after meeting condition. Nnamdi Kanu will walk out of Nigeria prison, a free man. But who will do it? Somebody commented, he said it was normal for VDM to be released. Like this was actual allegations that were true on VDM. Guess what? And he was released before the 5 days I mentioned. But VDM had been arrested based on false allegation that he never did. But he stayed prison. He stayed there for more than 1 week. Could I forget? He stayed for more than... Like you forget Nigeria